Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Sherry and I go by Ladyfish Loot on YouTube, Facebook, and eBay. Today's video is going to be what sold during the months of May and June. They were slow months, so I'm combining the two, and I'm probably going to do that going forward until sales pick up, knock on wood, because sales have been kind of dismal. And you know, I thought last year was bad, but this year is just, wow. I had 3 sales in June. I don't even remember the last time. That is not, I can't remember the last time that happened because that has never happened. I have never had a 30-day period on eBay where I sold 3 items. I can blame maybe part of that on the fact that I had my store on time away for 1 week because I was on a family trip. But other than that, I can't explain it, and it's just, I don't know, it's kind of puts me not in the mood to do eBay, but of course that's not going to happen because, you know, I've said this before, I love eBay, I love reselling, I just have to weather this storm, and maybe this is just the new face of eBay for me because I don't do promoted listings, I don't do free returns, you know, and that's my fault, that's my doing, and so maybe that's just, you know, I've got to suffer the consequences as a result of that, and that's okay, because again, I'm not doing this to pay the bills. This is my, I call it my fun money, but you know, I mean, I'm also not in this to pay good, hard, cold cash and have things sit in my store. But every sale I have is one more item that has moved out of my store, out of my possession, and that's always such a good feeling. So let's get started. Boo-hoo, Sherry, let's get over that now. Yeah, let's just move on, and I'm going to go over my sales. So again, 7 in May. And the first item was, I'm always going to tell you what I purchased, what I paid for it, where I bought it, and how much it sold for. Not particularly in that order, but those are the 4 tidbits of information you're always going to get from my videos. Okay, first item I sold. A Lemax Spooky Town Hot Rod Skeleton Table Accent Figurine. I mentioned the item number, and I said new and NRFB, which means never removed from box. So this was new old stock. I probably should have put that in there too. It was an item from, you know, earlier this year. That's not really new old stock then. That's why I did not put that in my title. New old stock, to me, this might not be to other resellers, but to me, new old stock is something that is vintage, 20 years or older. So the keywords for NRFB were correct in this particular instance. Never removed from box. It had never been displayed. It was like a brand new figurine, even though I think this was from the early 2000s. But anyway, I paid $180 for this item. I bought it at an online auction while I was in Phoenix. This was part of an auction that I got carried away, and I got in a bidding war with another buyer, and I went a little nuts. There were 4 items that I severely overpaid, and this was one of them, and this is the last one. Everything has sold since. Now, keep in mind, that particular auction haul was a big one for me. I spent well over $1,000. It might have even been $1,500. This was almost 4 years ago. And most of that stuff sold quickly and for very, very good profit. So there was 4 items that remained because, of course, I overpaid. So I was trying, you know, to bump the prices, get as much as I could out of them. But, you know, it just didn't work. So again, I paid $180 for this item. It sold for $175. I took an offer from a buyer. I was asking $199.99. Now, that is a number I came down to eventually. I think I started this thing at $299.99, but it wasn't working. So I dropped the price, and then I took the offer of $175. With tax and shipping, the buyer was all in for $204.43. And I actually suffered a loss on this item. I lost $33.64. So no profit on that one. But you know me, I always look for the silver lining. You might call it a rationalization. Could be a little bit of both. But I got most of my $180 back. So I was really happy to get some of that cash back. It wasn't a total wash. And it's, again, one more thing that's out of my possession. The next item I sold was a Disney Aristocats Marie coffee mug cup from Paris with Love Epcot World Showcase. I paid $2.10 for this item. I got it at a living estate sale. I was asking $19.99 for it. The buyer offered $17. So with shipping and taxes, that buyer was all in for $28.88, and I made a profit of $12.64. The next item I sold was a Paddington Bear surprise mug. What is Paddington doing in my mug? Eden, 80s vintage. I paid 99 cents for this mug at a thrift store, probably a Goodwill in Phoenix. I had it listed for $29.99. That is what it sold for. The buyer was all in for $40.54, and I made a total profit of $25.27. The next item was a vintage Susie's Zoo Susie Witch rubber stamp Halloween pumpkin JOL, which means jack-o'-lantern, spider frog. So it was a rubber stamp that I sold. I paid $2.99 for this at a Goodwill, again in Phoenix. I overpaid for this as well. Looking back, I never should have paid that for it, but I thought it was cute. So in my cart it went. Anyway, I had it listed for $9.99. It sold for $8, and the buyer was all in for $17.11, and I made a total profit of $4.13. The next item I sold was a Sammy Sam Hogue flame ribbon glass marble, pink, green, yellow matching stand, 1.67 inches. I bought this for $70. It was an online auction in Indiana, and I had it listed for $179.99. The buyer offered $155, and I accepted. With shipping and taxes, they were all in for $173.34, and I made a total profit of $59.81. Next item was a Jeremy Diller Raku pottery wedding vase, Southwest turquoise amethyst feather. I paid $5.99 for this at a Goodwill in Phoenix. I had it listed for $29.99. That is what the buyer paid for it. They were all in on this item for $44.14, and I made a total profit of $17.97. The next item was the last item for May, was a Utility by Emma Bridgewater mug, coffee tea mug cup, made in England, vintage. I paid 79 cents for this at a Goodwill in Phoenix. I had it listed for $29.99. I did send this buyer an offer, a 10% off offer, and she accepted. So it sold for $26.99, and she was all in for $34.98, and I made a total profit of $22.40. Okay, so for May, the breakdown is I sold a total of 7 items. The total amount was $543.42. My selling costs were $137.46, and what that is, it is the final value fees that I paid eBay, which were $71.81, and my shipping was $65.65. The sales tax that eBay collected on my behalf and paid out was $34.52. My cost of goods were high, $262.86. So my net was $108.58, which equates to about $25.85 a week. My average sale price on those 7 items was $72.70. So I was happy with that. At least I was happy about one thing with those sales. No, I was happy about all the sales. I thought, it wasn't my best month, but I got rid of 7 things. I made some money, made a little bit of money. Okay, so now we're going to start with June, and I sold 3 items in June. The first item was a Joni Mitchell, I Don't Need Therapy, I Just Need to Listen to Joni t-shirt, large, L large. This item came to me, it was free to me. My sister gave me this t-shirt as a gift, and the only reason I sold it, Kim, is because I only wear V-necks, and this was, you know, a crew neck, and I can't take that thing around my throat. So it was really hard to get rid of this t-shirt, because if anybody who knows me, and if you're just seeing me for the first time, I have been a Joni Mitchell fan since I was 17 years old, and she is my absolute favorite artist. I adore her. So, you know, I loved receiving this as a present, but I did sell it. I was asking $29.99. The buyer offered me $25 for it. She was all in on this t-shirt for $34.63. So my profit was $21.22. Hope you're not upset with me, Kim, but thanks for the profit of $21.22. Love you, sis. Okay, the next thing I sold was a Reggie Bush number 22 stitched jersey, 56, NFL, Miami Dolphins, teal, green, Nike on field. I bought this jersey at the Goodwill bins in Phoenix. I've talked about the bins in my previous videos, but that's where you go, and oh my gosh, it is so much fun. It is a free-for-all. People digging through all these different bins, these things that they roll out, and you pay by the pound. So I got this for a very good price, $1.36. And I had it listed for $49.99. That is what it sold for. The buyer was all in for $63.85, and I made a total profit of $37.24 on that jersey. The next item I sold, this had been listed for 3 years, almost 4 years. So I was really glad to get rid of it. It was a vintage Howlin' Coyote, so like Howlin', but Howlin' Coyote bandana, realistic plush stuffed animal, Banda, which was the name of the company that made it, original tag. So this was a piece of plush that I purchased for $2.99 at a thrift store in Phoenix. I had it listed for $29.99. That is what the buyer paid. And they were all in for $41.78. And I made a total profit of $24.24. Oh, that was it. Boy, time flies when you only had 3 sales. Was that everything? Jeez Louise. It was. Okay. Whew. Anyway, my total sales for the month of June was $140.26. My selling costs were $44.90, and that came from $19.02 in final value fees to eBay, and my shipping was $25.88. The sales tax that eBay collected and paid was $8.31. My cost of goods was $4.35. The net was $82.70, which equates to $19.69 a week. And my average sale price on those 3 items was $43.98. So that's it for my sales on eBay on May and June. I've had 1 sale in July so far. Oh, first of all, I should have said this at the very beginning of my video. I hope everybody had a really nice 4th of July. It was crazy around here with all the fireworks going off, but, you know, it's to be expected. It was a good day. It was a very happy birthday, happy 250th birthday, America. But hope y'all had a really good 4th of July. Other than that, I don't have really any news. I'm still listing maybe one thing every other day. I'm still working on that to do better. But, you know, I just take it as it comes. I'm retired, so this is what I do to keep me active. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. I want to thank you for watching, and I appreciate this time that you spent with me today, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.